All right. So now that the district attorney has come out and given us more information about this indictment against Tyler Robinson, who is the alleged shooter in this Charlie Kirk assassination, we're going to get into Tyler Robinson's first hearing that just happened. Now, we're going to hear a lot of information from the judge. We're going to find out that it seems like Tyler does not have any legal counsel yet. And y'all see him wearing this vest. Many of you know what that means. He's under a certain watch. I'm not going to say what that is here on YouTube, but they're worried about his safety and him potentially harming himself. So let's get into this full hearing, and then we'll talk about the indictment here shortly. Let's go. Shout out to Judge
Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness. A third.
Ooh, I just thought about this, guys. Oh, the roommate could get charged. Oh man, I just thought about this. If what happened and Tyler told his roommate slash significant other that, hey, I did this is crazy, stuff is going down, make sure you delete these messages, and the roommate did delete messages, that's going to be an issue. That might be a felony charge. Dang. I just thought about that. I wonder, they might leave the roommate alone, or dang, that sucks.
Degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508 in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted, or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3A little double I in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of the criminal homicide. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading of the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. And Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right. So that is it for the hearing for Tyler Robinson. Let's actually look at this now. We've got the full indictment here. We're not going to go through the charges again, but I will read them one by one just so we remember what was going on here. And we've got aggravated murder, obviously. We've got victim targeting enhancement. We've got count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, obviously. Count 3, obstruction of justice for the gun, for hiding the gun, allegedly. Count 4, obstruction of justice. Count 5, tampering with the witness. Count 6, tampering with the witness. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child. There were children at the event. If he's found guilty of this, you got to find them guilty of all of it. And then they have the probable cause statement. And here's everything that happened. We know what happened. We saw the videos. This is what they're alleging. We heard it from the DA, and we also heard it from Judge Graff. Let's get into these text messages, because this is something that's somewhat of a point of contention. A lot of people are saying they don't believe it. A lot of people are saying that it didn't sound normal and that there's some information missing. So there's no timestamps on this. This was all submitted by whoever investigated it. I don't know if it's the FBI or local law enforcement, but let's see what this says. The police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male, which is hilarious that they put that in there. Like, why they have to say it like that? Who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to the police. So it looks like, shout out to the roommate, didn't delete the messages. Smart. Because just one swipe left and you hit the delete button, you could be looking at a felony, which is insane. The roommate told the police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to the police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson, which said, "Drop what you were doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Tyler said, "I'm still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." "You weren't the one who did it, right?" says the roommate. "I am. I'm sorry." Oh. Is that the confession? Who knows? "I thought they caught the person." "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Why? Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? So the roommate clearly didn't know what was going on. Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back. And I don't know what these dots are for. It looks like they were maybe having a conversation about something else. So there's a break in the conversation here. And it says, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about my prints. I had to leave it in the bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Oh no. Again, the roommate's going to have some explaining to do because this part right here ain't great for the roommate. You remember when I was engraving those bullets, right? So that means the roommate knew something was going on, according to the text messages. The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think it had a 2K scope. And then he says there's some time that elapsed here. And he says, delete this exchange. Exchange? What? It's a weird thing for a 22-year-old to say. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. I'm not answering. They were sweating. This is probably the point where his mom was like, hey, that looks like Tyler. And the dad was like, "Ah, man, it does look like Tyler. Wait, they're saying there's a gun? Oh, man, that looks like Grandpa's gun that I gifted to him. Let me call him real quick and see what's going on." And then Tyler says, "Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff." And then Robinson says, "You are all I worry about. I'm much more worried about," and then the roommate says, "I'm much more worried about you." Robinson said, "Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent." Dang. All right. So the question I should have asked y'all is the roommate going to be implicated somehow? Because I think this is going to be an issue. Remember how I was engraving the bullets? That's going to be a problem. And the roommate's going to be questioned about that. I don't know if it'll lead to any charges, but it seems like a lot of people around Tyler knew something was going on and they saw a change. His mother was saying, "I saw a change in his behavior when we were at events and talking with family. I could hear more left-leaning conversations coming from him." The roommate obviously noticed that he was etching things on bullets, on shell casings, which isn't normal according to this. We'll have to wait and see how the evidence plays out. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments and in the chat. Interesting stuff.